this will actually record because the last version of this video was deleted because the camera's being a bitch. So, cross fingers. So basically my plan is for these reviews for Game of Thrones is that it's going to start off with me just going through the scenes, talking about how I feel about each scene and what it brings, and then when I'm done with that, have a little bitch corner. And the bitch corner will be labeled with my famous get that ass picture, and that will signal to you, the audience, that I'm going to bitch for a little bit. But I will try to make sure that all my bitching is fair and not just fangirlisms. And I don't think it's fangirlisms. I honestly am talking about things that I feel do a disservice to the characters that are being presented. Just that. Because I like some of the changes, and I will admit them when I'm talking in the review. But the ones I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I will also make clear. So, the first long-ass section of this episode takes place with Sam and Jon. Sam has somehow escaped from the massive amount of White Walkers that we saw at the finale of Season 2. And he meets up with the other members of the Night's Watch after being saved by Ghost from another White Walker. Now, something I forgot that I remembered when I was rereading Storm of Swords is that Jon sends Ghost back to join the Night's Watchmen. So, for those wondering why Ghost is with the Night's Watch and not with Jon, it's because Jon sent him away. Once Sam is returned to the other brothers, he is asked if he sent out the Ravens to warn people at the wall. Of course, being scared as fuck, he did not do this. And so, the other members of the Night's Watch, who all look fucked up, because they obviously had to fight some scary shit, are going to return to the wall to warn everyone that the Whites are here and it's just about to get real. Then we switch to Juan Neve, who is walking with Ygritte and the Lord of Bones to go meet Mance Rayder. And what I love about this scene is that as he's walking towards the camp, he's getting pelted with rocks by like these little wildling children. And one, I like it because I don't like Jon, and seeing him hurt is fun to me. But also because I like how it shows that while his perception of the wildlings maybe they're just kind of like the wild, these are people's fathers, brothers, sons, and that every male wildling or female wildling that's killed is someone lost to the community, and that as much as he may see himself as superior, these are also people. And that's one of the things I'm looking forward to with this whole storyline, is seeing Jon realize that these wildlings are not, you know, this fair group of people. They are people with their own history, their own culture, their own sense of belonging, just different from yours. And I think that's something that Jon really needs to see for himself. And also, I love his expression when he saw the giant. He's kind of like, what the fuck is that shit? And Ygritte's like, what, you haven't seen one before? Well, let me tell you. And Ygritte is awesome. Ygritte is really making these scenes work for me because she's such a good actress. And I really feel like the actress, I loved her in Downton Abbey, but I feel like this is a different role, a different kind of performance, that it really brings to life that character. And I think that she's funny, she's sassy, and you know she likes Jon, but she's also like, if he died, shit happens. But if not, I'm gonna get that. So Jon goes in to meet Mance Rayder, and first he thinks this first guy with a cool beard is him, but actually it's not. And when he bows down to Mance Rayder, the real one comes out and is kind of like, what up? I heard you killed Corn Half Hand. He used to be my bro. Back when we had to hold hand. And they have a little repertoire back and forth, and then he asks Jon why he wants to join the wildlings. And at first Jon says it's because he wants to be free, and Mance is like, nope, it's because he wants to be a hero. And then Jon talks about what he saw back in Season 2 when they went to, I think his name was Craster's place, and they saw him killing his sons by leaving them out to be eaten by White Walkers. And he talks about how when he saw that and how the Lord Commander already knew, it made him angry, and that he wanted to fight on the side of people who cared about these kind of things happening. And so Mance accepts him, and they take off his crow outfit and they will give him new robes. And this is going to be part of Jon's indoctrination into the wildling culture. Then next we jump to King's Landing, where most of the characters are right now. I hope this is recording, otherwise I'm going to be pissed. Then we go to King's Landing, where we start off this whole segment with fan service, because if we don't have titties on Game of Thrones, it's a failed episode. It is logic. And so Bronn is hanging out with some prostitute, and then Podrick So Podrick tells Bronn that Tyrion needs him, and then we jump to a scene with Tyrion looking in a mirror, and then Cersei comes to talk with him, and they have their own little tete-a-tete. And I love the little allusion that they make to the books about when Cersei's like, I heard you lost your whole nose. It looks, but it's not that bad, because in the books, Tyrion actually does lose his entire nose. Cersei's concerned that Tyrion is going to tell Tywin that she's been a fuck-up, and that Joffrey's also been a fuck-up. And, you know, Tyrion's just like, I just want to see my dad because he hasn't come to visit me because he's a douchebag. And so you really get the sense of fear that Cersei doesn't trust Tyrion. She sees Tyrion as kind of like the root of her own undoing, even though it's her actions leading to it, not anyone else's. And I just kind of, I love the little hints of her character scene to see like how devious she is, how fearful she is, and how paranoid she is. Like, when you find out later why she's so paranoid about Tyrion, I think it makes these scenes even better. And then, you know, we jump to a scene with Sansa, Shae, Peter Baelish, and Ross. Okay, I'll get to why I don't like this scene later, but just in general, Shae and Sansa are chilling out, making up stories and talking about these ships passing through when Peter Baelish comes and he tries to talk to Sansa, and he talks about how he's gonna probably still go on a mission to go somewhere. He's gonna try to take Sansa with him, and then Shae and Ross are in the back talking, and Ross is talking about, oh, it's great that we made ourselves up from being hoes to being like high classy ladies, and Shae's like, bitch, you don't know me, you don't know where I've been from, you don't know who my life is. But then Ross says, look out for Sansa because Peter Baelish is cray and obviously a creeper and is trying to get in her pants because she looks like Catelyn. And not that much is said, but it's pretty much implied that's what's going to happen. And Shae said that she'll always look out for, that she always does look out for Sansa. Now, the changes made to Shae confuse me and frighten me, to be quite honest. But I will say that I like the friendship between her and Sansa because they took away a lot of Sansa's supporting cast because they don't give a fuck about her character. So I am glad for her to have that kind of female camaraderie with Shae and for them to talk and have a real solid friendship. I think it'll be interesting to see how they continue with this story and how they'll eventually make it fit in with everything. But so far, I'm a big fan of it. I really enjoy it as a whole. And then we skip to Tywin and Tyrion having their tete-a-tete. And I love this scene. It's lifted from the books as well, so it's obviously automatically has better dialogue than a lot of other stuff. But what I feel like about this is how it shows that Tyrion wants to be acknowledged as being the true heir to his father. Jaime can't be it. It's not Cersei because she's a chick. He wants to be like, Dad, I'm your son. Love me, accept me, finally. And Tywin's just kind of like, nope, not going to do it. I will let you be seen as a hero. I will get you a position in the small council. You are my son because I can't prove otherwise because there's no Maury in this world. But you are not going to get Castle Rock because of your condition, because of how you killed your mother, because of how you live your life. And I think it really is pointed because of all of Tywin's children, Tyrion is the most like him. Tyrion is the most competent like his father. He's the most well-read like his father. He's better at planning like his father. He is his father's son. But because, you know, of his dwarfism, Tywin will never accept him as such. And society will never accept him as such. Because while they are so similar, Tywin's able-bodied. And therefore, he will always be here. And Tyrion will always be here. And that gap between them is only going to be made wider by how Tywin feels about his own son. Because he'll never accept Tyrion. He doesn't care about Tyrion. He sees him as a blight upon his family. Not just because of his condition, but because of the way Tyrion lives his life due to the issues stemming from his condition. The reason why he treats people the way he does and why he hoards is because he doesn't feel like he can actually get real love because of who he is. And I think it's one of those sad scenes and shows kind of like the life that Tyrion has to lead. He will never be completely accepted, so he has to live a life that's kind of, you know, uncouth. But if he were an able-bodied man, this would not even be an issue for him. And I think it really shows the complex nature of Tyrion's character and why he does the things that he does and what he longs for and why he stays in this game even though he's losing hard. Then we get Margaery being Anne Boleyn Fabulous, played by Natalie Dormer. I think Margaery has been the female character who's probably benefited the most from her adaptation. Even though her character is supposed to be 16 and Natalie Dormer is 30, and to probably age the character up to probably being in like her 20s because for some reason Joffrey's like 18 in the show. But I think that they did a great job with her, and I like the changes that were made to Margaery. I like that they show her being more outgoing and her really being her own voice, because a lot of the dialogue that's said by her in the show, especially last season in her whole thing with Joffrey, was lines spoken for her. And so we're seeing her really being this really great parallel to both Cersei and Sansa, because the main difference between her, Sansa, and Cersei is that Margaery was raised to be politically savvy. Sansa was not. She was raised on fairy tales. Cersei wants to rule, but she does not have the capability to do so because she wasn't raised to be a ruler. She's raised to be someone's wife and to smile and be pretty. Margaery has been raised to be pretty, to know the stories, but also know how to get around in society, which gives her the means to battle, politically with the Lannisters, especially with Cersei. And I think with the dinner with Cersei, Joffrey, and then Marjorie Loras also show the main difference between the Tyrells and the Lannisters. The Lannisters are constantly divided by each other. The Lannisters are not a unified force. Even though Cersei and Jaime screw, there is this huge power disbalance between them, and they're not all looking out for each other. Whereas the Tyrells, they are a solid family unit. They look out for each other, they are family first, and that's what they're trying to help. So, they're going to be ahead because not only do they have everyone, including their women, being smart enough to handle themselves, they also are not divided because of any other issues. And I think, with the changes made to Margaery are positive ones for her character, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes. And I also love how dumb Joffrey is. He gets played by everyone. Even Sansa sometimes can play him when she's in the right mindset to do so, but he just gets played by everyone around him. He's just not a smart kid. He just doesn't really know what he's doing, and I think Margaery is the best person to kind of manipulate him in that way, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they develop their relationship even more. Then we Robb and AU Catelyn and fucking Talisa and just cluster hell that I don't care about. I just hate this change to these characters. It's been horrible. Anyway, they go to Harrenhal for some reason, and they see a lot of slaughtered people, and then Robb sends Catelyn to a cell, and Talisa saves some guy whose throat was slit. Big whoop. Don't care. I won't get into the Catelyn thing because I'm making a video all about the difference between the women in A Song of Ice and Fire and how they're presented in this show. So I'm not gonna get into it here, but I'm just gonna say this is some bullshit. And from what I've heard from reviews of the series, at least the first 4 episodes, the bullshit will continue with Catelyn Stark. So that's just great. Then we go to Dragonstone, another what the fuck section. Well, to be positive, Davos is alive! Yay, Davos! I love Davos. Which is great. Also, he's a character who's benefited, because, his chapters in the book, they bored me. I don't know why. I used to, flash through them because I wasn't really interested. But since the show came out, and I've seen this character and how he acts in the show, I've gone back with them, and now I really enjoy his chapters. So I think his character has really been benefited from his adaptational person. Except in this episode. So he gets picked up by his pirate friend. I forget how to pronounce his name, so I'm going to call him Salad right now. So Salad picks him up, and he tells him about how Sansa's licking his wounds at Dragonstone, and Melisandre's manipulating him into being a dumbass. And Davos is I need to get back to Stannis. That's my baby. I love him. I gotta help him out. So he goes to meet with Stannis at Dragonstone, and he talks about how Melisandre's the enemy. Melisandre's oh, I'm the enemy. Well, if I was at Blackwater, we could have won. Stannis would be king, you'd be his hand, and it'd be all good every day. And then when she goes up to Davos, she's taunting him because she knows that her son died in the wildfire. And she goes and whispers to him, "It was true I said to your son, death by fire is the purest death." And Davos is no! And grabs a knife and tries to stab Stannis, psycho style. And he gets taken prisoner by guards. Also, it is said that Stannis is just letting Melisandre burn anybody that she wants, which, you know, sure. Why not? Why not? Well, that's that. Then we go Daenerys, who actually is having a good storyline again. Yay! We have her traveling in her boat to Slaver's Bay, and her dragons are growing, and, you know, Drogon is just, like, bossing it up. But she also knows that they're too small to really be any help right now, and that she actually needs an army. Jorah takes her to Slaver's Bay because of these group of warriors called the Unsullied. The Unsullied are basically the baddest. Warriors take pain and not flinch. They have to kill a newborn baby in front of its mother to make sure they have no emotional weaknesses. So they are just basically the perfect soldiers. The issue for Dany is they are slaves. And that for 8,000 slaves of these Unsullied, that means 8,000 dead babies. And she just is not really feeling like this will make her a good person and the right type of ruler if she will come and try to take over Westeros with these people. Jorah, with his kind of, you know, gray morals, is like, you know, you'll be a better owner to them than anyone else because you're kind, you won't make them kill any babies, you won't torture them to prove a point. But Dany's kind of like not really sure this is the right way to go because she, you know, having been a commodity and being, you know, almost like a slave herself, she does not want to be that kind of person. And I like that they kept that and they're focusing on that kind of issue with Dany because Dany has her own issues from what happened to her with Drogo, with Viserys, that I feel like really show why she feels the way she does. And I think it's a really good addition to keep those things in for her character. So that was all really good. And then they added some shit where, like, the warlocks from the House of the Undying are, like, kind of come after her and shit. I'm like, I thought they were dead. But, you know, this little girl with the ball comes in. She's like a warlock. She's got the white mouth. I mean, not the white mouth, the blue mouth. And then this manticore thing comes out, but it's killed by Sir Barristan. And he's like, "What's up, Daenerys Stormborn? Sorry I didn't get to save your father, but I want to be a member of your Queen's Guard." And we see him bow before Daenerys, and Jorah's not happy about it because he's like, "Look, bro, I'm the only one here Dany's allowed to trust because I'm trying to get in that pants. You can't be here because you know shit about what I've done, and she'll need to know that because that's going to ruin all my shit. So you need to go." So there's obviously going to be a little bit of conflict between those characters as the show continues. Overall, like, this episode was not a horrible episode. It's just going to be seen as boring because it's all set up. It's setting up stuff for the future, for what's going to happen later episodes. Which, you know, is not always the most interesting stuff, but it's important to set stuff up. Although, you know, there's stuff that irritates me because it doesn't make sense to me why they're doing it with certain characters. And I'll get into that right now with the whole bitch thingy. This is a very minor bitch fit because I am not trying to be like, they changed it from the book, so it's horrible. No. What frustrates me with the changes that I see right now, and it's just only two things this episode that really were kind of like, okay guys, I don't get it. Because like I said, I like the Margaery change, the Shay Songs of Friendship change was good. Ross, since right now she's doing stuff and actually moving ahead, that's a good change. They pushed up Sir Barristan's reveal as being the guy in the cloak, which I think, you know, that's good. Let's move stuff along. Let's not dawdle about it. It's hard to do with actors to kind of hide them. And so I feel like, okay, these are all good steps in the right direction. Good job, show. Excuse me. Good job, show. However, the two things that irritate me is, one, them ruining Stannis and Davos' friendship. Because that whole scene with Melisandre, wrong. Just, like, straight up wrong. And I feel like they're trying to make Stannis look crazed. And think about it, like, Melisandre is probably gonna be his fatal flaw. Which is also gonna be his own issue because he could also, you know, not do what she says. And he's just, you know, he needs that kind of sense of approval from somebody. She's giving it to him. That's why he's with her. But that does not mean that he loses all sense of himself because of it. You know, Davos is not an idiot. He's not just going to pull a shank on Melisandre in the middle of a thing and think, oh, nothing's going to happen. I mean, yes, when he returns, he does have intentions of killing Melisandre. But Melisandre uses her magic and sees that he's gonna try and kill her, and that's why he gets arrested. And not by Stannis, and not in front of Stannis, but by some other guy that she sends to go get him. And they changed that completely. I don't know why. To make Stannis look worse? Why? He's not this crazy dude. I mean, yes, he has issues because of his relationship with Melisandre. Melisandre's not crazy either. Like, they're not deranged people. It's just, it's frustrating to watch because I don't think it really represents the character as well. And I don't know what the change is for. Like, is it to make more drama there? But there's plenty of drama already. There's already plenty of conflict between them. So why are you adding this? So basically, my whole thing is like, why choose this way to do it instead of the other way? And so hopefully, as the series goes along, I'll be able to see why they made this change. And I know it's the beginning, you're like, you gotta wait and see. I am gonna wait and see. But until I see the good end result of this, to me, they destroyed a really good friendship for no reason. Also, I love how, like, Peter Baelish has ever had a plan that he could not keep to himself. Like, literally, season 2, he's like, Kat, let's be together now. I mean, your husband's dead. Let's go to Cersei, like, oh yeah, you know, I totally know you're fucking your husband, fucking your brother, or whatever. Oh my god, why are you hitting me? It's just like, everything that's supposed to be slick about him in the books is like, no, just put in the front. And like, this also has screwed up Sansa's storyline, because this was obviously her end plan. Because from season 2, his talking with Sansa, it's been hinted that this was how it was going to be. And I was hoping that they're going to switch it up a little bit, but it doesn't seem like they're going to do it. And it's just kind of like, okay, so you pushed back Sansa's storyline and her development to push up this? Okay. And it's like, they took Margaery, who's not a POV character, who doesn't speak for herself and doesn't get a lot of scenes on her own, and made her a fun, dynamic character who I honestly enjoy. And then we got Sansa, who is a POV character, who does change and evolve in ways as the series progresses, and yet those are not shown because whatever. Bitching's done. This is done. I'll see you guys next